Hello, hello, hello. Mandy with Ingrain social media here. We are covering a 3-part series on building your brand. The first video, which can be found in our YouTube stream down below, covers what is a brand. The second video, which also can be found down in our YouTube stream, is why is it important to build a brand? And we go through some of the reasons why it's so important for you to start building a brand, whether you're an independent agent or a small business. And today we're going to delve into the meat and potatoes of the whole thing and talk about how you're going to build this awesome brand. Building your brand is going to establish authority and give you trust with people who you want to convert to customers or who can refer customers to you. So this is very important and I'm so excited to get into it. In order to make a great brand, one that stands out, is memorable, and people want to know more about, it's a matter of taking the small things and putting them together to create something big. Having cohesiveness in your brand from every little element is going to create a really stellar brand image and brand perception that people are going to gravitate towards. It's kind of magnetic. They're like, wow, I just want to be a part of what they're doing, what their business is about, because their brand is so great and it's so memorable. So when you're thinking about building your brand, and as we go through laying out the process for creating your brand, ask yourself, do the small things work together? Is my logo memorable? Does my website easy to navigate? If I were a consumer, does my website reflect what my Facebook page looks like? Are the headers the same? Are things cohesive and do they flow? Am I using the same color schemes? Those are things you want to keep in mind as we're going through this process. By all means, think about it from the customer's perspective and not your own, because obviously you chose your logo because you liked it, or you thought it was great and you set up your Facebook page the way it was because that's what you knew how to do. But removing yourself from the situation and looking at things objectively as if you were a customer of your own business will help you to create a brand that is great for everybody, that everybody likes. No, not everybody. You're not going to please them all, but most people. So think about things objectively and look at it from the perspective of a customer. I'm all about goals and having goals and expectations, and I feel like if you don't have goals, you don't know where you're going, and if you don't have an expectation of yourself or your employees or your business, you are going nowhere because there is nothing holding you accountable to anything. Writing these things down now and having a good idea of where you're going is so important. And so I want you, if you have a pen and paper handy, to use it. If you don't, please pause this video and go grab one. Your brand is largely how people feel about you or your business. It is important that we are creating feelings that make people want to return, that make people feel really good. Because if you think about any brand that you have ever come in contact with, you have a feeling about that brand. Think about an experience you had at Walmart. Did you get greeted and you felt so great because the customer service was stellar and you went in there and you got exactly what you wanted, and when you couldn't find it, you went to a cashier and they immediately went and found it for you? Or did you go in there and they were super busy and the lines were really long and you weren't able to get help because the bike you wanted was way up top and there was nobody to get it down for you and you got frustrated and you had this bad feeling? Did you maybe go get a Snickers bar when you were hungry and you felt so much better because it just hit the right spot and you're like, wow, Snickers just made me feel so good that day when I was having a bad day, and I know I can count on them to make me feel better when I'm feeling down? So the way that we perceive brands is how we feel about them. And a lot of this is intuitive. It is not intentional. And so a lot of times when somebody goes, I just don't like that place, I just don't like that thing, like they don't really have a good reason. It's just how they felt intuitively about the experience they had when dealing with the business or the product or the service. And so we want to really think about what we want people to feel when they interact with us. For example, I want my customers to feel empowered, informed, educated. I want them to feel like I cared about what they were saying and that I care about building their business and that I care about them being better. So I want them to leave feeling really good about the experience and knowing that they have an ally in what their business is doing and trying to accomplish. So the first step in how to build your brand is to identify how you want people to feel when they interact with your brand. So whether that's your product, your business, or you as an independent agent. Right now, I would like you to write down 5 different feelings you would like people to have when working with you. Maybe it's happy, maybe it's empowered, maybe it's informed, educated. I hope you don't want them to feel frustrated or aggravated, but maybe that's your business. So write down how you would like them to feel. Try to get to 5 if you can. If you can only get to 3, that's okay too. You're going to want to keep these handy as we go through the rest of the process and refer to it as you're going through your business. Am I meeting these objectives? Am I making people feel this way? And a huge indicator of that can be just to ask, how did you feel when you left this meeting today? Another indicator is reviews. If people are leaving negative reviews and they're saying, wow, I left and I felt so frustrated after dealing with this person, you know that you haven't met your goals, and you're gonna wanna reapproach how you wanted people to feel and think about, how am I gonna get there to do that? That might require training some of your staff if you have it, or just really doing some self-reflection on what do I need to do to make sure people are feeling the way I wanted them to feel when they're interacting with my brand. Maybe your brand is not you as a person or your personal name. Your brand could be your business, or it could be something else entirely. The next step of creating a great brand is identifying what that brand is. If it is not your name, because it could potentially not even be your name if you're self-branding due to the availability of website URLs or social media web addresses. The next step here is to write down 5 considerations of names that you will use other than your personal name. This might be your business name, and you might want to do some research there, find out if the name that you want to use is already taken, and having 5 of them will give you a backup in case you are unable to use one of the other 4. You also want to ask around if you have close family or friends, and honestly, don't take too many opinions, but ask the people that you feel closest to, that you really trust. If you have a great network that you can reach out to and say, how do you feel about this name? What does it make you feel? If it's confusing or ambiguous and we don't know what it means, then it might be not the best choice for you. And for example, I went with Ingrain social media because it really embodied everything that I wanted my customers to feel. I want social media ingrained into their businesses and into their daily lives. I want it to become something that's so natural and that they're so educated on that they can use fluidly without even thinking about it. So for me, Ingrain social media just made the most sense. I don't ever see my business going away from social media, but if I need to pivot and do something else, then I will. So that's what worked well for me, and you need to think about what works well for you. How do you want people to identify with it? Will they immediately know what it is? If you use a generic name like vanilla, is it a clothing store? Are you selling essential oils? Is it food product? So you need to think about how people are interpreting the name that you choose, and if you're leaving it open to interpretation. Simply having a brand is not enough, because how will people know that your brand exists or find you if they need you? This is a big one, and we're going to talk about creating and improving your brand image. So perhaps you've already had a business or you've already been an agent for a long time, but people just simply don't even know you exist. You need to work on improving your brand image, or if you're just starting, you need to work on creating it. I'd like you to write down 3 ways that you can improve your brand image. This could be writing articles for major publications, running press releases about accomplishments, or even just doing blog posts or video blogs. Anything that will help you to get the word out about your business or your brand and make people aware of what you're doing so that you can create a better brand perception. It's important to define your brand. What does your brand stand for? What are your core values, and what is your mission as a brand? You're going to want to brainstorm those things, and as you go through creating the other assets for your business, you're going to want to think about, do these reflect the core values of our brand? Are we getting our mission across, or are we making sense to people as we do it? You're going to want to make sure that you have a professional look and feel across your brand. It is important to have a logo designed professionally if you can afford it. And if you can't, at least have a nice logo and use it consistently across all of the assets that you have, whether that be your website, your social media sites, or your business cards, printed materials, or advertising. Go through each of your current assets, and if you don't have them, start creating them, and look at it from the perspective of a customer. Find out if the experience is a good experience. Are they going through your website but they don't really know where to click and it's kind of clunky and it doesn't make sense and it's not intuitive? Then you need to fix that, because that's all coming back to how your brand perception is. There are many, many more things that go into creating a great brand, but this is just such a good place to start, and it'll give you some tools that you need as you go forward with creating your brand. If you have questions or ideas on your personal brand or the company that you're building a brand image for, feel free to leave them in the comments and I can help you a little bit further, give you some more information. But this is going to be a great foundation for you to start from, and I hope that this gives you the tools that you need to start thinking about what are my goals for my brand and how do I create that brand. Make sure that if nothing else, you're consistent in the way that your brand looks and how it feels to people. And if you need outsider input, join a group on Facebook for small business owners or on LinkedIn and ask for outside information or help, get other opinions from people that can give you constructive feedback to help it. All right, guys, this is the end of our 3-part series on creating a brand. You are welcome to look at the other videos and watch them down below. We have new videos every Thursday, so hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified when our new videos come out. We have tons of tools and tips and resources on the website, ingrainsocialmedia.com. There is a link in the About section down below. And you are welcome to download our free ebook, 24 Proven Tips to Boost Your Engagement and Get More Followers on Social Media. I hope you guys have such a great week and that you enjoyed this 3-part series. We will see you again next Thursday.